Today I want to address a very common problem when it comes to websites, typically card designs on a website, and accessibility, and also semantically. Now, it doesn't sound particularly interesting or exciting, but I think the technique that I'm going to show you can be used in both creative and also ways we can use this to improve our site's accessibility to people that need to use things like screen readers and so on. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a very typical layout. You can see we've got a card design with the image, the title, and then the little bit of information underneath, the excerpt, description, whatever it is. And you'll see this in lots of different places, blog posts, WooCommerce stores, all manner of different places. The problem we have is we don't want the image to be the first item. So if someone's using a screen reader, the last thing you want is the image to be the first item, and then they've got to wait to have that described before they actually get to what this particular card or content is about. So we can make it much better. Let's take a quick look at the code. So if we expand one of our card designs, you can see at the top, there's our image. Then we have the title or the heading. And then finally, we have the excerpt. We need to flip things around a little bit. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. Now I'm going to use Bricks Builder for this, but you don't need to use Bricks. You can use any builder that allows you to change the order of things, or you can just go in and add this in through custom CSS. It's very, very simple. Let me show you using Bricks how easy this is. So first thing we need to do is address the structure or a hierarchy. You can see our image is sitting at the top and we don't want it there. Let's pop that at the bottom so we give the screen reader the ability to both read the title or the heading and also the text that sits underneath it before we worry about the image, which is probably the least important in this example. So you can see now everything is flipped upside down and it looks terrible. We've lost what we want. So we'll address that by selecting the image, coming over to layout on the left hand side, I'm going to open up the options until we get right the way down to the order option. Now at the moment we've got two items sitting above our image. So what we need to do is use a negative value. I'm going to use -2. You can see now everything flips around, so our image is still in the stacking order inside our DOM, is still at the bottom, but you'll see now that it visually appears at the top and then our title and then our content. So let's save this. Hop over to our front end and take a look at our page. And you can see now everything still looks exactly the same. But if we take a look at the code again, you'll see now we have the title, then we have the content or excerpt, and then finally we have the image. But visually, it's sitting at the top. So our design looks exactly the same as it did. But from an accessibility and a semantic point of view, it now makes a much more sense in the code and also the screen readers and so on. And that's a really simple example of how you can use the order function, a typical CSS function, to reorder things in the way that makes sense visually while retaining the HTML or semantic markup underneath. Now, this is a series of videos that I want to put out on little tips and tricks to help you improve your workflow, improve accessibility, and a lot of other things. So if you found this useful, let me know in the comment section below. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And as always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts. Until next time, take care.